The moment Ethan Parker disappeared into the sea of faces after pulling Rebecca Winters from the wreckage, he became more than just a hero, he became a mystery. A mystery that would haunt one of the most powerful women in the business world for months to come. If you're wondering how a chance encounter between a struggling single father and a billionaire CEO could change both their lives forever, stay with me until the end. This story might just restore your faith in humanity. If you find yourself moved by what you're about to hear, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel for more stories that remind us of the extraordinary connections that can form in our ordinary lives. Rebecca Winters had everything: a corner office on the 52nd floor, a company valued at billions, and a name that commanded respect in boardrooms across the country. What she didn't have was time. Time to breathe. Time to notice the world around her. Time to see the taxi that ran the red light that rainy Tuesday morning. The impact sent her luxury sedan spinning across the intersection. Metal twisted. Glass shattered. The world turned upside down, literally, as her car flipped onto its roof, trapping her inside as gasoline pooled beneath. Ethan Parker was running late. Again. After dropping his daughter Lily at school, he was hurrying to his second job, the one that would hopefully keep their small apartment for another month. He saw the accident happen. Saw the smoke beginning to rise from the crumpled engine. Saw that no one was moving to help. Without hesitation, Ethan dropped his worn backpack on the wet sidewalk and ran toward the overturned car. The crowd of onlookers had their phones out, recording the scene, but no one was moving to help. The smell of gasoline was growing stronger. "Call 911, he shouted to no one in particular as he dropped to his knees beside the driver's window. Through the spider-webbed glass, he could see a woman, suspended upside down by her seatbelt, blood trickling from a cut on her forehead. Her eyes fluttered open, disoriented and afraid. "Hey, stay with me," Ethan called to her. "I'm going to get you out." The door was jammed. Smoke was now visibly rising from the hood. With no time to waste, Ethan grabbed a discarded piece of metal debris from the street and smashed the window. Glass rained down as he reached in to support her weight with one arm while using his free hand to release her seatbelt. "I've got you," he assured her as she fell into his arms. With strength born of adrenaline, he pulled her through the window and carried her away from the vehicle. Seconds later, flames erupted from beneath the hood. As sirens wailed in the distance, Ethan gently set the woman down on the sidewalk, removed his jacket, and placed it under her head. Her expensive suit was torn and stained with blood and motor oil. Her eyes focused on him briefly. "Thank you," she whispered. "You're going to be okay," he replied, checking her for serious injuries. "Help is coming." As the ambulance and fire trucks arrived, paramedics rushed to take over. In the chaos that followed, no one noticed when Ethan Parker retrieved his backpack, now soaked from the rain, and disappeared into the crowd. No one except Rebecca Winters, who caught a final glimpse of her rescuer walking away, a tall man with broad shoulders, dark hair, and a face lined with worry that somehow still managed to look kind. She tried to call out, to ask his name, but her voice was lost in the commotion. By the time she was loaded into the ambulance, he was gone. 3 broken ribs, a concussion, and a dislocated shoulder kept Rebecca in the hospital for 5 days. Her assistant, Marcus, maintained a constant vigil, fielding calls from concerned board members and rescheduling the meetings that couldn't be cancelled. "The press is having a field day with this," Marcus informed her, scrolling through his tablet. "They're calling you the CEO who cheated death. There's video of the accident online. It's gone viral." "What about the man who pulled me out?" Rebecca asked, wincing as she adjusted her position in the hospital bed. "Has anyone identified him?" Marcus shook his head. "No. Several videos show him rescuing you, but he left before anyone could get his information. The police would like to speak with him, probably to give him some kind of commendation, but so far, no luck." Rebecca frowned. The memory of those few moments was hazy, but she remembered his eyes, deep brown and filled with a quiet determination. She remembered feeling safe in his arms as he carried her away from the burning car. She remembered wanting to thank him properly. "Find him," she said simply. Marcus looked up from his tablet. "I'm sorry." "Find him," Rebecca repeated. "Use the company's resources if you have to. I want to thank the man who saved my life." Ethan Parker was exhausted. After working a double shift at the warehouse, he had rushed to pick up Lily from her after-school program, only to find that he was late again and had to pay an extra fee. Money they didn't have. "I'm sorry, Mr. Parker," the program director had said with genuine sympathy. "But we have to charge for late pickups. Rules are rules." Now, as he stirred a pot of mac and cheese, Lily's favorite, he tried to calculate how many more hours he would need to work to cover this month's expenses. The medical bills from Lily's last asthma attack were still piling up, and the rent was due in 10 days. "Daddy, you're on TV." Lily's excited voice broke through his thoughts. Ethan turned to see his 8-year-old daughter pointing at their small television. On screen was a grainy cell phone video of the accident from last week. Ethan watched himself breaking the window of the overturned car and pulling the woman to safety. "That's not TV, sweetheart. That's just a news clip someone took with their phone," he explained, quickly turning off the television. The last thing he needed was attention. Attention meant questions. Questions about his past, about why a man with his education was working 2 minimum-wage jobs, about the circumstances that had left him raising Lily alone. "Was that lady okay?" Lily asked, her big eyes, so like her mother's, full of concern. Ethan smiled and ruffled her hair. "Yes, I think she's going to be just fine." "You're a hero, Daddy," Lily declared proudly. Ethan's smile faltered slightly. "No, honey. I just did what anyone would do." But as he served dinner to his daughter, Ethan couldn't help but wonder about the woman he had rescued. He had recognized her face from business magazines and news segments. Rebecca Winters, CEO of Winters Innovations, one of the largest tech companies in the country. A woman whose net worth probably exceeded the GDP of small nations. A woman who lived in a world so different from his own that they might as well have been from different planets. He pushed the thought away. People like Rebecca Winters didn't intersect with people like Ethan Parker. Their brief connection had been a fluke, a random moment in time that was already fading into memory. Or so he thought. Rebecca Winters was not accustomed to failure. In the 2 weeks since her release from the hospital, she had launched an all-out search for her mysterious rescuer. The company's security team had enhanced the video footage, run facial recognition software, and interviewed witnesses. They had distributed images to local news stations and offered a reward for information. Nothing. It was as if the man had simply vanished. "Maybe he doesn't want to be found," suggested Marcus as they reviewed the latest dead-end leads in Rebecca's office. "Some people don't like attention." Rebecca absently touched the healing cut on her forehead. "I understand that. But I owe him my life. At the very least, I want to thank him properly." What she didn't say was how the accident had shaken her. For the first time in years, Rebecca Winters had been forced to confront her own mortality, and the emptiness of her existence. She had built an empire, but for what? There had been no one at her hospital bedside except employees. No family. No real friends. Just business associates concerned about the company's stock price. The man who had saved her, who had risked his life without hesitation for a stranger, had shown more genuine care for her in those few moments than anyone had in years. "Keep looking," she told Marcus firmly. The eviction notice arrived on a Thursday. Ethan stared at the paper, the words blurring before his eyes. 30 days to vacate. The rent increase he'd been dreading had finally come, and despite working nearly 80 hours a week between his 2 jobs, he couldn't make the numbers work. He sank onto the worn couch, head in his hands. He had been down before, rock bottom, he had thought, when Sarah died and left him alone with a 3-year-old daughter. But somehow, he had always managed to keep a roof over Lily's head. Now, even that was in jeopardy. His phone buzzed with a text from his boss at the warehouse. Another shift had opened up for tonight if he wanted it. Overtime pay. Ethan quickly replied yes, then called Mrs. Gonzalez next door to ask if she could watch Lily for a few hours. As he changed into his work clothes, Ethan caught a glimpse of himself in the bathroom mirror. Dark circles under his eyes. A new gray hair at his temple. At 34, he looked a decade older. This wasn't the life he had planned. With his engineering degree, he should have been designing buildings, not stocking them. But life had other plans, and Ethan Parker was nothing if not adaptable. For Lily, he would be strong. For Lily, he would find a way. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. One of the security guards at Winters Innovations headquarters recognized the man from the video as someone who occasionally delivered packages to the building. He works for Quick Ship, the guard told Rebecca's security team. Quiet guy. Polite. I think his name is Ethan. Within hours, Rebecca had a name, Ethan Parker. And an address, a small apartment complex on the outskirts of the city. And a story that made her heart ache. Ethan Parker, 34. Widowed father of one. Former structural engineer whose career had derailed after his wife's death from cancer 5 years ago. A man drowning in medical debt who worked multiple jobs to support his daughter. A man who, despite his own struggles, had not hesitated to risk his life for a stranger. Rebecca sat in the back of her car as her driver navigated through unfamiliar neighborhoods. The buildings grew smaller, more dilapidated. The streets narrower. This was a part of the city she had never visited, a world away from her penthouse apartment and corner office. "We're here, Ms. Winters," her driver announced as they pulled up in front of a 3-story apartment building with peeling paint and a broken security gate. Rebecca hesitated. What was she doing here? What did she hope to accomplish? She had prepared a thank-you speech, had arranged for a substantial reward, had even considered offering him a job at her company. But sitting here now, outside his home, all of those plans seemed inadequate, even presumptuous. Before she could reconsider, Rebecca stepped out of the car and approached the building. According to her information, Ethan Parker lived in apartment 3B. She climbed the stairs, noting the flickering hallway lights and the faint smell of mildew. When she reached his door, she took a deep breath and knocked. The door opened to reveal a young girl with dark pigtails and curious eyes. "Hello," the child said politely. "Hello," Rebecca replied, momentarily thrown off balance. "Is your father home?" The girl shook her head. "Daddy's at work. He won't be home until late. I'm staying with Mrs. Gonzalez, but she let me come get my book." She held up a well-worn copy of Charlotte's Web. "I see," Rebecca said, disappointment washing over her. "Could you tell him that Rebecca Winters stopped by to see him?" The girl's eyes widened. "You're the lady from the car. The one Daddy saved. He's on TV because of you." Rebecca smiled. "Yes, that's me. And your father is a very brave man." "I know," the girl said proudly. "He's the best daddy in the world. He works really hard so we can have nice things, but..." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "I heard him crying last night. I think it's because of the paper that says we have to move." Rebecca felt something twist in her chest. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily. Lily Parker." "I'm 8. "Well, Lily Parker, it's very nice to meet you. I wonder if you could do me a favor and not tell your father I was here today. I'd like to surprise him." Lily considered this, then nodded solemnly. "Okay. But you should know that Daddy doesn't like surprises very much. Not since Mommy went to heaven." Rebecca swallowed hard. "I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Lily." As she walked back to her car, Rebecca's mind was racing. The girl's innocent revelation about the eviction notice had changed everything. This wasn't just about thanking a hero anymore. This was about something more fundamental, about recognizing the inherent unfairness of a world where a man like Ethan Parker could save a life one day and face homelessness the next. For the first time in years, Rebecca Winters felt something stir within her, a sense of purpose that had nothing to do with quarterly reports or stock prices. Ethan's feet ached as he climbed the stairs to his apartment. The extra shift had been brutal, 10 hours of loading and unloading heavy boxes in a warehouse with broken air conditioning. But the overtime pay would help, at least temporarily. As he reached his floor, he noticed something unusual, a manila envelope taped to his door. His name was written on it in elegant handwriting. Frowning, Ethan removed the envelope and unlocked his door. Mrs. Gonzalez had left a note saying that Lily was asleep in her apartment and to come get her whenever he got home. Grateful for his kind neighbor, Ethan sank onto the couch and opened the mysterious envelope. Inside was a letter and a check. The check made his heart stop. It was for an amount that could pay his rent for a year. The letter was brief. Mr. Parker. You saved my life 2 weeks ago and disappeared before I could thank you. I hope you will accept this token of my gratitude. It comes with no strings attached and no expectations. It is simply one human being acknowledging a profound debt to another, **. If you are willing, I would very much like to meet with you. My contact information is below, **. With deepest thanks. Rebecca Winters. Ethan stared at the check, emotions warring within him. Relief at the solution to his immediate problems. Pride that rebelled against accepting what felt like charity. Suspicion about what this wealthy woman might really want from him. In the end, exhaustion won out. He would think about it tomorrow. For now, he needed to bring Lily home and get some sleep. But as he lay in bed that night, after tucking Lily in and kissing her forehead, Ethan couldn't stop thinking about Rebecca Winters and her unexpected gesture. What did she want from him? And more importantly, what did he want from this situation? The answer came to him just before sleep claimed him: dignity. Whatever happened next, Ethan Parker wanted to maintain his dignity. He had lost many things over the years, but he had never lost that. Rebecca was in a board meeting when her assistant slipped her a note: Ethan Parker is in the lobby. Her heart raced as she excused herself, ignoring the surprised looks from her board members. In the elevator down to the lobby, she smoothed her skirt and checked her reflection in the polished doors. Why was she so nervous? She spotted him immediately, standing near the security desk, looking uncomfortable in jeans and a clean but well-worn button-down shirt. He was taller than she remembered, his shoulders broader. His dark hair was neatly combed, and his face, though tired, had a quiet strength that the videos hadn't captured. Mr. Parker, she said, approaching him with an extended hand. I'm Rebecca Winters. Thank you for coming. Ethan shook her hand firmly. Ms. Winters. You're looking well. I'm glad to see you've recovered. Thanks to you, she replied. Would you like to come up to my office where we can talk privately? He nodded, and they rode the elevator in silence. Rebecca stole glances at him, noting the way he stood with his back straight, his eyes forward. There was a dignity about him that impressed her, a man who had clearly faced adversity but refused to be diminished by it. In her office, she offered him a seat and water, which he accepted. Then, before she could launch into her prepared speech, he reached into his pocket and placed her check on the desk between them. I can't accept this, he said simply. Rebecca blinked in surprise. May I ask why not? Because I didn't save your life for a reward, Ethan replied.